Click the bell icon to get latest videos from Ekeeda.
Hello friends, today we will discuss about a technique called checkpoints which is implemented to ensure the atomicity in the atomic transactions. We know that the transaction should be undone or redone with the basis of the recovery techniques on the data atomic transactions. So now it is decided by the log to decide whether it should be redone or the transaction should need to be redone. Now, if redone and undone at the procedure that is to be done on the transaction, the entire log has to be searched before making such decisions. So this has two advantages and disadvantages. The disadvantages are, first, it is very much time consuming as it searches through all the log. Second, we are talking about when redoing the operation, then the data that are accessed by the transactions that need to be redone has already modified the data that is written out to the stable storage. Again, reading out to it cause no harm because of the idempotency, but it will take the recovery to take longer than usual. Now, to avoid this type of overhead, atomic transaction in system uses a checkpoint of this mechanism. It doesn't search the log altogether, rather during the execution, it periodically examines the checkpoints to check that whether the transaction has completed or it has been aborted due to a logical error. The checkpoint can be performed in the following sequence of action. First, all the modified data or the values of the data that has been accessed by the transaction Ti on volatile storage written into the stable storage. Now all the log records that are onto the volatile storage need to write it out into the stable storage. And last one, that all the data that is residing in the volatile storage and need to be undone also we need to do in the stable storage. Now following these actions, we can perform a checkpoint. So checkpoint is done, and for example, suppose Ti has finished its execution and committed before the checkpoint. So any recovery action then need to search the log only till Ti and Ti has already modified previous to the checkpoint or as a part of the checkpoint. So only to redo the transaction Ti. So only to redo the transaction Ti and no operations before that. The observations make us to refine the previous recovery algorithm that we have made. Now the recovery algorithm should check that any transaction Ti that contains the Ti start record in the log and the Ti commit records in the log during to the last transaction and the recent checkpoint execution. Now, when we search backward from the log, it finds the checkpoint instruction first and then the Ti instruction. So only the redo operation to be done on the Ti instruction whose commit operation is executed just before the checkpoint. And no longer we need to search the log. Once transaction Ti has been identified, redo and undo operation has been done to it during discussion with the log. Now, if any transaction Tj that has occurred after Ti and after the checkpoint instruction need to be also redone and undone. Now, these transactions are called a set of transaction T which processes need to be redone and undone. So, it can be decided on to given parameters. If suppose transaction Tk belongs to set of transaction T, commits the Tk commits log records in the log, then it will be redone on basis of redo Ti. If transaction Tk in the set of transaction T does not contain the Tk commits in the log record, then it will be undone with the help of undo Ti operation. So in this way, checkpoint are proved to be very useful while we do not have to search the entire log to actually redo or undo the operation based on some system error or logical error. Thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned with Ekeeda and subscribe to Ekeeda.